If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims.
Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Terry and Carol Moss. Hi, Carol. Hi, Terry.
Hello, Carissa.
Yes, nice to be with you both. And I could just feel your love. Oh my gosh, my heart just warmed up. That was interesting. You're sending me a vibe.
Zenfully.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Let me share a little bit about Terry and Carol, founders of ONE FLESH Ministries. You can see the beautiful logo and tagline behind them there. Terry and Carol Moss are relationship experts, coaches, mentors, and authors dedicated to strengthening marriages and relationships through biblical principles. With 50 plus years of ministry experience, they've written In the Beginning, It Was Not So, and Whole You Before Two, and lead the Marriage by Design program, serving couples worldwide. Married nearly 20 years, they live in Lake Worth, Florida. So excited to have you both here today.
Thank you. We are excited to be here. Yes, we are.
Jinx! You're finishing each other's sentences.
So
Soulmates,
years.
twin flames, soulmates, all the things.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, I'm just excited to learn from you both. And I feel like this topic is timely for me and others that I know where their relationships are ending and they're ready to open their hearts to someone new. So, or just embrace being single. And maybe we'll talk about this, becoming whole before they meet the next phase of their life, the next love of their life. What do you think?
Yes, that's exactly where we are and would love to be.
Yes, that's important.
Okay, amazing. Well, I'd love to hear your story. I mean, would you share how you were transformed from rock bottom to redemption?
Absolutely.
So I'll go first.
Yes.
Okay.
Jump in. So for me, the rock bottom was going through a divorce. After being married for 26 years and doing the marriage thing, some days good, some days not as good, but often finding ways to meet with counselors or coaches or someone who can help us through those dynamics. But it ended, and that was a difficult day for me, particularly, give a little context to that. For years before that, through the church that we're part of and other churches before that, I was very much involved in working with couples and individuals, mentoring them, coaching them, and helping them to learn how to do marriage, but also learn how to be a better themselves, so to speak. So it was difficult for me going through that whole process of divorce because now I'm telling people, hey, be married, how to be married, and now I'm not. So that was, and for me personally, it felt like I was going to be walking around with the big D on my forehead, and everyone's going to just look at me and scowl. And there was some of that.
Yeah.
There were different reactions and things like that, but so at one point I began to think that God's no longer going to be able to use me because now I'm.
Wow. Was that devastating to have that feeling?
Oh my gosh, very devastating. That was the rock bottom. That was where I felt the lowest and the least. And and then there was fear. There was, what's going to happen? Then there's anger. How dare you? I mean, there was just a lot of emotions that fueled that bottomness. But before I get to my coming out of the bottom, you want to share?
Yeah, well, we kind of have similar stories. I grew up in a single parent household with six other siblings. It was two boys and five girls. I was born and raised in New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey, so it was a little tough. I was able to come and live with my father at an early age of 16. So I left the household that I grew up in at a very early age and I moved to the Chicagoland. So I moved there with his wife. That's when I first really got involved with the blended family. I didn't know about blended family. I didn't know all the ins and outs of that until Terry and I started teaching and discovering all the complexities of blended. But then I went to school in the Chicagoland. I graduated, but then I became pregnant at the age of 20. And I had my first child at the age of 21 who was special needs. So at a very early age, I was raising as a single parent a special needs child. Then I got married. I got married later on in my late 20s, and I got married to my high school like best friend. So I thought,
That's
"Oh,
sweet.
because we were friends, we'll make good husband and wives, we'll make good mates." Well,
I
that
mean,
didn't.
that makes sense to me.
So you would think.
Right, right.
But he was still a good person, but yet he took a different path that I wanted to be on. So he took a path, and that turned out to domestic violence. So
Okay.
the path that he took made him angry. He wasn't feeling good in life, and it started out to come out needing anger management. So
Mm,
I was thinking I have to get myself out of this because I then went to school, started my career, and at that time then I had two more children. So now
mm, mm.
three children, one with special needs. So that didn't
Yeah.
go too well. So that's when
Yeah.
the maturity started needing to happen. I can't say I am there then where I am today. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that ultimately ended in divorce. And so once again, I became a single parent, raising now three kids and one with special needs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And I just want to say one thing that I noticed about your story is the compassion and love that you have for your ex and saying it in such a kind way. He went a different path, with this domestic violence. I just wanted to say that really stood out for me of your love for others and just your fellow humanity. And I can tell that you have forgiven him for that time in your life. Is that true?
That
That's
is
very true.
absolutely true. And that then allowed us to do the blended togetherness very well because of the compassion. And I saw past his the hardness, and I realized why he kind of took the path that he took. So that compassion was always there because I knew the good parts of him. And
Mm.
but yeah, and then ultimately the path that he took, then he ended up dying. So then
Wow. That's deep.
yeah, the children had to deal with their biological father no longer here. But I thank God that that compassion was in me because they got to experience him, even though it was tough, the father that they had. So I never
Mhm.
tried to speak bad about him to them.
Mhm.
So they were able to have that father children relationship.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and I know that's an intense situation, and that was specific for you. If anyone else is suffering from domestic violence, please get help. I'm not saying that it's easy or you can take the same path as Carol, and also you have to consider the safety of your children. Obviously there was something going on where Carol felt safe for her children, but I just wanted to say that everyone has a unique path and experience, and what I'm feeling is no matter what happens, if you can get to that frequency of forgiveness, dare I say, no matter what, it will heal you because that's what it's all about, is healing yourself. What do you think?
Yeah,
And what you
absolutely.
said, and safety is the number one. You
Mhm.
have to protect yourself and you have to protect your children. And so then with the safety, me knowing what I wanted my future to look like. And then I took a period of separating. And of course, I got the courts involved for that separation, and then grew to where he can slowly but surely come back and be a part of our lives, knowing that now we are secure.
I see. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, Terry, would you like to go on about how you met and connected?
Well, yes, I love that part of our story because so we met. Well, we were in the same church. So even when I was married before, we all were in the same church after for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And so Carol and I both had leadership roles, and so she led ministries, I led ministries. So we were in classes together or training or something like that. That's how
Mhm.
we know one another better and just being around the church. And the area,
Okay. Any flirtation? Any like eyes? Like,
no, no.
It's absolutely not, because Terry was, I'm telling you, the position that he had in church, it is so ironic that we're together because he was like the elder, the senior elder of the church, and you do not date anyone on the pastoral team. That is just taboo. And
yeah.
Terry was straight, he was, I always say he was so elderly, not in
Not
age,
old, yeah.
but character.
Position
But
wise.
you're talking about like having boundaries and respect and being in that leadership, taking on that role. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
So it was like a little miracle that you ended up together.
So it is. So can I tell you the miracle story? So here's how it worked.
Not
It's,
a
it's a
miracle.
big miracle. So here's how that worked though. So while going through the divorce and trying to work things out through that, at one point, some of the ministers, elders, even our senior pastor and his wife kept nudging me that you should be married again. You should be married again. Now, it is kind of comical looking back because I'm thinking at the time I had done the marriage thing and I'm not anti-marriage.
Check that off.
Now I'm single and I'm traveling. I'm going to Paris and London. I'm doing my life, and so I'm good. And and really, my relationship with God even deepened. And so my focus was Him because my whole thing was, Lord, take me through this divorce thing and help me come out better and not bitter. That was my prayer. And so at one point, then the senior pastor said, Terry, you should be married again. I'm saying, why? Because I'm good. He says, no, because you have too much love to give. And when
Oh,
He was absolutely right on point.
and so I
oh my God. Like it has to go somewhere. Otherwise, you'll implode with love.
was giving my love to,
Things in
I was
such a
giving,
big ways.
I was giving my love vertically.
Yeah.
Yeah, to God. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
God's saying, no, you need to get it out. Okay,
And
go ahead.
so I said, so here's my prayer, and this gets me to Carol. I said, okay, Father, Lord God, if you want me to be married again, then I don't want to date all the women in the church to find that one for me. Actually, my words were, I don't want to be the church gigolo. That's what I said.
That's it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure God loved that with a sense of humor.
So I said, so here's my prayer. Present to me the woman you have prepared to be my suitable helper.
Oh,
He would
And
have
that, and
never
that,
imagined in a million years it was that loud one over there on the other side of the room.
no, I didn't, because I thought it would
It's
take God.
like,
I thought it would take God a whole year to scour the world and find that one. And so I'm thinking I had another year to be single, travel, doing my life, do my thing, et cetera, et cetera. But God, in His infinite wisdom, it was a short 3 weeks later when I'm praying one morning. And I don't know how you believe in the Spirit speaking or God moving or in this little thing in your heart that tells you something, but I had that morning. And here's what that spirit, that thing in my heart said. Not thinking about Carol, not even worried about Carol or marriage at all. Just praying, have my time with God, meditation, quiet time. And the Spirit says it's okay to contact Carol.
ah, that
That's,
is very specific.
yes, it's okay to contact Carol, and I knew because of that relationship that I had developed, I knew that that's the Spirit speaking, and it's in relationship to my petition to Him. Present me the woman you prepare to be my suitable helper. It's okay to contact Carol. Now, He didn't say how and what to say, what's going to happen, what's she going to do, how's she going to respond. So I'm thinking, well, how do I say to Carol? Because now I'm thinking of who that Carol is, and she's so different than me. And is this the right one? You sure that Carol? And and what is she gonna say when I tell her, hey, we're gonna be married? Because we hadn't winked at, looked at, had any romantic inclination, had any thought about any of that togetherness.
Mm.
But out of obedience, I get to the office that day and I send Carol an email and say, hey, I need to talk to you about something. When you get a chance, let me know when you're
Mm.
available. And
Yeah.
so her response back to me was via email, if it's good news, I'm available now. If it's bad news, never. If it's business, let me check my schedule. That's a typical Carol response. And so I said, nothing bad. I need to talk to you about something. Let me know when you're available. So that afternoon, we were able to talk over the phone. And I shared with her my thoughts about um, a number of things that had nothing to do with relationship because I was stalling. And so then when it got to having had this conversation, my heart's thumping, pounding, and I'm thinking, okay, what is she going to say? So I said, I've come to the end of a particular season in my life, and your name has been given to me as someone I should get to know better. So I'd like to know if I could take you out to dinner sometime so I can get to know you better. Not bad.
Okay. Now, do we get to hear Carol's? Is it time for her to share? Is this a good
Yes.
time? Okay, good. Now you share.
Yes. No one in a million years could have told me what we called him at the time in church, Elder Moss. Because Elder Moss, the only words he would normally say to you is, can I tell you what the Bible said? Or have you done your homework? Or are you joining one of my teaching classes? So we used to try to avoid him. Here come Elder Moss. So when he sent me the email, I was used to getting emails from the pastoral team because of the ministries that I led there. So I was always very respectful. So when he finally got to the point of asking me out, it was dead silence because Elder Moss never stepped out of character from being that gentleman and that elder at the church.
Yes.
His character, he was always, and I always looked at Elder Moss, I tell him he's my little introvert. I call him my little nerd.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not a nerd, so
Quiet is so different. I'm the extrovert.
as you can tell.
He's the introvert. So when he asked me out, it was just a little bit like,
Yeah.
Because being the single lady at a church, there's always the single guys trying to chase you down. So I just knew that my husband was not up in that place. So for Elder Moss, the one that was asking me out. So I actually eventually end up saying, yes, we'll go out.
Oh, eventually. I love that. You're just like the hot commodity at church. And you're like, Elder Moss should be so lucky to
Right.
have me. You're like, wait in line. Number 27.
But the ironic thing is, once we did get to talking, it was like, I was also praying though, Carissa. I was in my season of ready to be married myself. I had been a single parent for almost 14 years. And I was just so busy with all of the ministries that I led in church and plus my career. I was working for the government. So I was very busy. But yet, I've always had this prayer that God, please, I thank you for all the blessings that you've given me, but there is a void in my heart. Those were my exact words. I want a husband. I want to be married. Because I like that togetherness and I love married, but it had to be the right one. And I love being married to Elder Boss now. But that was my prayer. But I did have specifics. I said I didn't look at color, height, weight, or any of that. It was, I said, please, I need someone who can support me emotionally because I don't want to go through that anymore. Someone who knows the right path that they're going down. Spiritually, I do love my God. I do serve. I do, I'm in church. I read my word. So spiritually. And then financially, I have established my career. I went to school. I worked hard. I tested to get to the position that I'm in. So I asked, I said, God, this person has to be able to support me spiritually, emotionally, and financially. That's all I asked for. And so therefore, then when Elder Moss presented himself and asked me out, I actually went out of curiosity because I just knew we were not like this. If we left it up to our own mindset, there's no way I would have thought that him and I would make this couple.
Yeah. Nothing personal against her.
Nothing at all.
But just we're so different on the outside.
Yeah.
And so people thought that wouldn't have been the thing to work.
Yes.
But it's been almost 20 years, and every day is just I'm just
an adventure.
Always thanking God that this was the one He chose for me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I love what you said about your prayer, Carol, that it didn't have anything to do with looks, color, like height, anything like that. It was the emotional support, financial security. It was all of that. And then so did you go through this interview process with Terry?
It's funny you say that. She said that too. Nobody asked that question. That's a great question.
Yeah, so driving to the restaurant, I was really giggling because I thought out of all the things Elder Boss could have ever said in all the years serving at the church, he would ask me out. So it was really out of curiosity as to what else can he say. So at the date, he was very specific about the questions that he was asking. I said, how many ladies have you taken on interview? Is this an interview?
That's what she asked me.
The date. So we laugh about that till today.
One, and it's you.
But it was because of where I was in that space. When we talk about that emotional wholeness, I was there. I knew who I was. I knew what I liked. I knew what I wanted. I knew the kind of person that was going to be what I need for my future. And so those are the questions I was asking. I knew her from our classes and groups and different things, but this date was getting to know this person from the inside out. And that just changed everything. Those kind of questions to really understand her heart, understand her purpose, understand her vision for herself and life, and whether there is alignment. And it was such a surprise in a sense that we had such alignment with those things that were inside and important and internal versus what looks to be on the outside.
And that's what I love. We say so often that my weaknesses is Terry's strength and his strength is my weaknesses. So we've learned to lean on each other. So when you think it's so different, the differences makes that connection. So we always say when you have something that's so even, it can't not go in together like that. It cannot. It's just like this. But the differences, and you learn to lean on those and appreciate them, then you're able to connect.
Yes. And that's what happened.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Complementary.
Yes, yes.
characteristics. Okay, amazing. So then did you ask her out for a second date at the date?
Oh, so you want to hear more of that? So here's the thing. So here's the thing. So we went on that date. Matter of fact, this was Thursday, February 2nd,
Oh,
2006. I'll never
we
forget that.
remember the date.
You remember the
You got a
date?
good one, Carol.
The conversation.
Yeah, Lorenzo's restaurant, which is no longer there in Aurora, Illinois. It's an Italian restaurant, but it's a different place there now. But yeah, it was an amazing experience because of, hey, this is the one got prepared. So she said, yes, we'll go to dinner. But I didn't think about, well, what if she, after dinner, decides, we don't want to have another date or this is good. I didn't have a plan B. I was like, this was it. And so it just worked. So we went on several dates after that. Matter of fact, but here's the thing, our dating was probably about 2 or 3 weeks, it felt like, because we knew after day four, or at least I did, and she says she did too, after day four of having several long hours of conversations, because we would, after work, we would get off and get together and we would drive, just go out or go out to a restaurant, anything that's going to give us a chance to just have time to talk with one another and get to know one another. And I remember that day four, it was Sunday, if I remember correct. So it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was Sunday. But here's the thing, it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm a huge NFL fan. And so
Okay.
I'm always looking forward to Super Bowl Sunday. So we had talked that earlier, and she said, so what are you doing today? Oh, I'm watching Super Bowl. And I said, what are you doing? She says, oh, I don't know. And then she says, how about we go to a movie? So I'm thinking, go to a movie on Super Bowl Sunday?
I won't dare ask that today, though.
But I
Yeah,
did.
you learned. You learned. Okay. So what'd you do?
I
What'd
said,
you do?
okay, all right, let's go to a movie. And I know.
He actually.
We went to a movie. I mean, some crazy movie. Big Mama's House, I think was like
Ah, hilarious
so.
comedy.
But it was just time to be together and getting to know her at a deeper level. And the more I got to know her, I appreciated her, understood her, and just this is the one.
Yeah.
And this is the one that connects with me and the who I am and the who I expect to be. And um, and that's just how that worked. And we were married 5 months later.
Okay. So now Carol, I know she's been chomping at the bit.
But the funny part is we went on a date when you finally realized that, yes, we were going to be together, is you brought me a gift on the date, remember? And in the card of the gift, you said,
yeah.
from your man.
Mhm.
And I asked you, who said that you were my man? And I didn't say that you were my man, but you put that in the gift.
That's
and so
right.
then you turned around and said, can I be your man? And I said, yes.
Oh, that's a sly way to do it. I like it.
Well,
This is also for the men out there listening, these are dating tips on how to court your woman. All right. And look like a star, a rising star above all the other people out there.
All those other toads before she gets to the
That's
phone.
what's so important in that whole story is the time, though, that we grew of
Okay.
learning ourselves. What are our deal breakers? What do you want your future to look like? And not falling short of what you really need in your life.
Mhm.
So it took the time, and not to say that once we did get married that I was completely emotionally whole, because we all bring baggage and we are a product of our past, but yet knowing ourselves and that emotional maturity path that we were growing on, because it's a journey, it's not a destination, you never arrive.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think that is what kind of led us to grow deeper and deeper, because you fulfilled my complete prayer of the things that I needed internally. You came emotionally strong, spiritually strong, leading me spiritually and financially. I guess you was doing okay for yourself.
Yeah.
So those were my fulfillment. So because of that, it fulfilled me internally. It filled my cup.
Yes, yes.
And
And so our relationship has just been, to me, a great example of what God can do in our lives and how you do love one another, appreciate one another, and value one another when you realize this was that gift to you. And so we share that with other people. Now, when you see yourself, when you see your spouse as a gift, then you learn how to embrace that gift and treat that gift and enjoy that gift. And I say she's the gift that keeps on giving every day. She's just
gratitude and
giving more.
appreciation. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, would you share about your book, Whole You Before Two?
We'll be happy to.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the book actually becomes a product of this journey.
Okay.
And through that process of teaching and sharing and conferences and different things, we begin to realize, and then working with couples together for 19 years of our 20 years, we work with couples together in the One Flesh Ministries. And we begin to realize that a few things. One, people don't get married so that it will fail, or people don't engage in relationships so that they will fail. If it's a business partnership, hey, let's do this and then see how this doesn't work. We all go into a relationship expecting and wanting what we were created for is healthy, connected, life-giving relationships. That's how we were created. And so what we found is that a lot of people just don't know how to do that. They haven't developed the emotional maturity that it takes to understand yourself and how to manage your emotions, but also how to manage the emotions of the other person, not managing the person, but managing those emotions and how that affect you, and then how you respond versus react to those. And so that process of understanding that and seeing how that was absent in many relationships, and whether it's family relationships as well, we had the opportunity to speak with different people and family dynamics. And so begin to realize that's a big gap. And so the whole you before two became that focus of how do we develop this wholeness? And it starts with me. I got to start with myself and not make my spouse whole or make my partner or my friend whole. It's got to be me. And if two whole people come together, then you have a healthy whole relationship that brings joy to both people.
I love that. But we always say that wholeness doesn't mean perfection.
Exactly.
We're not saying that you have to be perfect, because no one's perfect, but knowing yourself emotionally and being able to deal with those emotions in a mature way, then I'm able to open up myself more to you, so that intimacy becomes deeper, and then you're able to help me heal some of those past wounds, because I can be vulnerable with you, because I understand myself.
Yeah, I was going to bring out that point about part of that knowing yourself isn't just knowing your strengths, and your weaknesses, but also knowing your past and knowing how that past affects your presence, your present, and your future. And when we, like for instance, I can think about situations from my past and how it affected how I may think, how I behave, how I may speak. And if I don't understand where that's coming from, like for instance, it's easy to react to something. And Carol may trigger a thought without knowing. She may not know she's triggered something from my past. And if I don't know that that's coming from my past, now I'm blaming her and saying, you're making me angry, you're making me upset, you're treating me with disrespect. But really, it's not her doing that. It's me needing to understand how that past has informed those triggers and this future and that conversation.
The emotional wholeness in that is now allowing me to be able to express to you that this is not your past. And is there something that you're triggered about? Because when your emotions are sabotaged and that wholeness is not there, when I say this is not, I am not your past, and did I do something to trigger you, then you're attacking me back and you're very offensive about what I said is a trigger. And now there's a fight.
Right.
But
right.
that wholeness allows you to look within yourself and apologize and say, you're right, that was a trigger.
Yeah.
And now you're able to express to me that trigger, and now I understand.
Yes, yes.
That's
and
really
that,
it's
and
important.
that understanding brings closeness and connection and healing.
So you're not fighting over
So it's
a
not
cycle.
pitting one against the other.
Yes.
It's both realizing, hey, how can I support what you're working on? And so that I can be there to I can't heal you,
Right.
but I can walk that journey with you with understanding and compassion.
Yes. And you both understand.
Well, in a way, I feel like it is healing. Even though you're maybe not trying to fix that person, like some people might think of healing as trying to fix them, you having compassion and walking that path together, I feel like is holding space and is healing because maybe they've never experienced that before in relationship.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Yep.
And I look to that because when we got together, I know that the path that I was on being a single mother and one with a special needs child, to me, it felt like me fighting against the world. And you come into the relationship with a high degree of empathy. And so now you're able to tell me that everything is not a battle. Because to me, everything is a battle. As it was a battle.
Right.
Was.
Yes.
Oh, wow. He came to heal that pattern of yours.
Yeah. And so I was able to open my heart up and understand that I am fighting too hard and it's not necessary because now I do have a partner and now everything is not a battle. And so he was able to bring that to me that you can calm it down a little bit.
Please.
I'm gonna need you to bring it down some because you're not fighting this world alone anymore, and everything is not a battle.
Yeah.
And I internalized that instead of being angry, like, what you saying about me? You're saying I got anger problems and I'm hyper or whatever. Yeah, instead of looking at it like that, I knew the love that you have for me. And so I was able to think about that and we're able to talk about that. And now you were able to bring some calm into the chaos that I was so used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I want to hear a little bit, if you could touch on the book In the Beginning, It Was Not So. Do you want to talk about that, Carol?
Yes, in the beginning, it was not so, is we say 7 marriage lessons learned in the garden.
Okay.
So we take couples back to the very beginning of the book of Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we take you on this journey of God's design for marriage. And so the 7 lessons we go through is realizing that God took Adam on a journey, and that was that established relationship. So when I think within myself, I said that I need someone who can support me spiritually. That was so good because understanding that journey. Then at a certain point, spiritually, when it was said, it is not good for man to be alone. So then God knew. He knew a long time ago when he said there'll be male and there'll be female, but he only created Adam first. So that's a journey right there. So we allow you to take a look at God's design. And so when you understand how we were meant to come together, then it kind of gives you a greater insight on marriage itself. So that's our marriage by design that we use. Yes, that came out of that. But it's in the beginning, it was not so, because the way we're doing relationships today, it was not so
In the beginning.
in the beginning.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so let's give some tips. I know you've been sprinkling these tips and suggestions throughout your own journey and authoring these two incredible books, which by the way, one of them was a #1 bestseller on Amazon. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, the whole you before two. So, what are 3 keys that transform every relationship?
Hmm. Let's say, knowing who you are,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
liking who you are, there's a difference,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then living true to who you are in any space.
Yes.
So, knowing who you are, that's that self-identity.
Mm-hmm.
Liking who you are, that's self-worth. Now I know my value. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to seek value from another relationship or another person. I know who I am. And then third, when I like who I am, I know who I am and I like who I am, then I can live freely and authentically in any place in any space. That's the 3 keys to emotional
Yeah.
wholeness.
So good. Always say
Wonderful.
body and soul, mind, body, and soul. That's not just a cliche. That is so true. That's what I tell the children today. We have a son who is into fitness and he works out, and now I'm getting him to realize as hard as you work on your physique, and it looks very nice, then do the same thing, do the same thing internally for your
Mm,
heart and your mind. And again, it's like we do so much for our outer appearance and very little for our inner.
Yeah.
mm,
That's the
yeah.
spiritual part.
Wonderful. That's really powerful what you're teaching your children and maybe in your ministry and your clients. So, Carol, why do you feel that every success story begins with whole, healthy relationships?
I think every success story begins with a whole relationship, is that success is something that's internal. You have to then know what you want to achieve, and how to achieve that comes from the wholeness within yourself. So, for example, you could want to write a book, and you can have this mindset of wholeness in relationships, and I want to be able to because I live in a good relationship, I live in a good space. I want to write this book about that, but yet you're not whole within yourself. You haven't really laid that path out of success to be able to write the book. So you have to look within yourself first to say, this is what success looks like to me, and then to reach out to achieve that. And that only comes from a healthy you inside.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Okay, Terry, what is Zen success to you?
Zen success. Now that's a little different than.
Mhm.
So
Could be.
I know you're the Zen master, so I think, when I think of Zen, I was going to say a headspace, but it's more of a heart space, or
Mhm.
it's how you view yourself, how your mind, body, and soul, how it's connected to it, how the alignment and
Mhm.
the spiritual part of us,
Mhm.
because we are spirit beings, and to be connected to that spirit part, and to know that that's where truth lies. That's where my hope and my joy lies, because that is the me. The real me is that guy or gal inside. And when I can feel good about who that person is, boy, that just brings great success in any space I walk into.
That is so good. That is so
That
good.
is so beautiful. And Carol, I was just wondering if you had any final thoughts as we close up this interview for the single men and women out there. If you have any, like, just inspiration, final thoughts.
Yeah, I love that. Know who you are and like who you are. I always use the analogy of a body. For a body to work to its fullest, it's a part. Each part of the body has a different part to play. And one part is really not more important than the other part. And so when we recognize what part our purpose, when we recognize what part of the body that we are, and we accept that part and we like that part by realizing the importance of that part plays in the healthiness of the body, then you are okay. You accept who you are and you like who you are. So for the example, the eyes do a different job than the mouth. If the mouth is so busy looking at the eyes and jealous of the eyes, it cannot fulfill its purpose. So we all have to recognize what our purpose is and the part that we play and love it.
And that's regardless of whether you're single, married, connected, or not connected.
Yes.
The single person can get as much fulfillment of life and joy and personness
Yes.
than anyone, than whether I'm in a relationship or not.
And so then that way you're able to then give your whole self to that another person because you know who you are and you like who you are and you're good with that. And so if that other person cannot accept the part of the body that you are, you know the importance is, then that person cannot be connected to you.
But what there is no other person. I'm a single person. And there is no other person.
But it don't have to be in a relationship like a marriage. Giving yourself to anyone, family, friends, co-workers. You show up authentically wherever you are because you know who you are. No social media, no comparison or nothing can make you indifferent than who you are. Love to learn who you are.
No, I agree. The only part I add to that, though, is if I'm single and I'm not in a relationship, that doesn't mean you're behind.
Not at all.
It doesn't mean you're missing something.
Nope.
It's your opportunity to know you.
Yes.
And to love you and to say, I'm okay. If no one else or nothing else comes along, I'm good the way I am because that's what God made me to be.
Yes, and your light shines wherever you show up. But then if you are single and you are wanting to be in a relationship, then you can achieve that because and whomever you meet, you're bringing your you. From the very beginning, you bring in exactly who you are. So that person from the very beginning knows who you are.
Yep.
Beautiful. Well, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you both and hearing about your books and your ministry. I'll put your website and how to buy your books or connect with you in the show notes. So thanks for being on the Zen Success Show today, Terry and Carol.
Thank you. It was our pleasure.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity. I love it. Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey. And join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.